It's sad to see the timid man in me prefers the calm of despotism to the boisterous sea of liberty. So as the lakes recede and the oceans swell, ah well, I'll see y'all in hell. My name's Harley Neville. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast.
And I'm Guy Pigden. Who was that?
That was what's a hot young rapper? It goes by the name of Lil Nevs. Lil Nevs, his name is. He's a hot new rapper from Auckland, New Zealand.
Yeah. A prolific career. He's made about 5 songs over the course of a decade.
Hot young artist. There's actually more than 5, I'll have you know. There's actually, because there's a bunch that I forgot about. That is one of my other ones from a little while back, and I was recently partying with Hamish Gavin. Shout out to Hamish, who was the third part of our 3-part rap posse, HGH, Harley Guy Hamish, or Hamish Guy Harley, depending on who you ask. And
can't have that chair going down. It's got to go up.
And so
Harley just accidentally on the live stream revealed his true height. Accidentally is. Sorry, as you were saying.
So actually though, so it was a Lil Nev's original, but it was a quote as well from another hot young rapper. Name of Thomas Jefferson.
Right.
So it was a Thomas Jefferson quote that I turned into a rap.
Right.
Yeah.
For
one of Hamish's songs, and I think it's called New Flag, and it's on the Hamish Gavin Spotify. I'll share it in the comments somewhere below. Or on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Guy and Harley. So that's who that was. It's the first 45 seconds of the song, and it's just all me, baby. I just open with some fat bars at the beginning of the show.
Okay.
The beginning of the song, rather.
Now, here we go. Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
Got some people in the chat already, so that's great.
Great.
But yeah, so I thought that was good.
Oh, but Tyler's on the beach in Kauai Island. Somewhere near Hawaii is my guess. Gonna miss this one. Have a great podcast, he says. Oh, well, bloody good on you. Thanks.
Well,
have a good time, and Happy New Year's to Nocturnal, to Tyler, to everybody else on the live stream, and those listening at home later.
Yeah. Well, I felt like, it was quite a good quote. Now, painting in the background that you whipped up.
Yep.
What's this one called?
That's the girl with the pearl necklace.
Have you ever given a girl a pearl necklace in your time, Harley?
I have actually been known to give a pearl necklace or two.
Did they appreciate that gift?
They seemed to. Everybody seemed happy. So
did they thank you for the pearl necklace that you gave them?
Well, I'm not sure if they thanked me. Thank you, but I'm sure they would have.
So I'm
sure they did.
This painting is an ode
inspired by a memory
of giving a girl a pearl necklace once upon a time. You see that she's just adjusting it on her neck there.
Yeah.
A lovely, lovely painting.
Yes. Took all 2 weeks since the last show. This is, of course, the first show of 2023. What's it going to be? What's the plan? What's going to happen to us all? Will the show still be going at the end of this year? Tune in to find out.
Why wouldn't it be going?
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I didn't expect the pandemic or the war, you know?
True.
Now we're heading into the recession, they reckon. 2023, the year of the recession, they're saying. Look, and you can see prices have gone up. You're at the supermarket and you're like, hey, wow, what do you mean that's $18 for that block of cheese?
It's getting, no, it is getting quite insane. Like, I went to the supermarket and spent $170 on essentially enough
Catch
food.
you later, Tyler.
Enough food to last me approximately 2 days. And I was like, felt like this used to last me 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This is 2 days worth of food I've just bought.
Yeah. It's also hard when you're a liberal, lefty, woke warrior like me and you've got to buy the free-range eggs. You know, they were already twice the price.
Yeah.
Although it does sound like we've now gotten rid of, as of like this week or sometime very soon, battery hen eggs in New Zealand in its entirety. They're shutting it down. And so as a result, that's a great thing. But as a result, we've now got an egg shortage. Damn those liberal woke lefties. Look, you cancelled the egg making and now we don't have eggs. Are you stupid? Yeah, well, we're going to transition. We're transitioning to the free range model.
Yeah, well, if 2022 was the year of spending a lot of money, and 2023 I feel like is going to be the year of really tightening our belts. And I mean that both literally and figuratively.
Yeah, and when speaking about your figure.
Yes, because... unfortunately what occurs every time I go to my parents' house for a holiday for a period of time is I gain 3 kgs.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is I'd already gained 3 kgs prior to going on holiday, which means that I'm now 6 kgs up.
Kgs behind,
which is really not good.
Yeah.
So I've got my new sort of wardrobe, which is all black everything, slimming.
Yep. Oh, mate, I've been on the all black everything for years now.
So have to, because otherwise you look just fucking fat.
You just feel and look fat and hideous.
The fattening.
Yeah,
the fattening has really occurred recently, and I feel like this is actually... this is a pivotal moment in my life.
Yeah,
this is it. This is a pivotal. This is a turning point. I have 2 roads that I can take.
Yeah.
Now I can either fight and battle and struggle real hard and get the weight back down. Mm-hmm. That's still a possibility. Mm-hmm. That's still an option for me. Mm-hmm. With a lot of sacrifice,
you could do that.
A lot of eating well. A lot of sort of.
Hungry nights in bed.
Hungry nights, hungry days. Like jealousy and anger at watching other people eat nice things that I don't eat. Extreme amount of sacrifice. I can get this weight off. I feel like that is possible.
Yeah.
But I also there's another option, and that's give up.
Yeah.
That is give up and give in to the middle-age spread.
Oh yeah.
That is also a very viable option, and probably an option that I suppose
that's what I've been looking at doing.
90% of us, maybe 95% of us take.
Yeah.
And that, like this option comes to us at different times depending on our circumstances, right? So, if you someone who's like, really skinny, it might come 10 years later. Right? Yeah. If you get pregnant, it might come 10 years earlier. But there's this, we all have this moment in our lives where we're, to see what we're made of. And how much we like eating food. Nice food.
And drinking beer.
And because that's the thing, it's not so much like the exercise is no problem for me. And I've heard this before too, is that it's like, man, I work out really hard to look like shit. But so the exercise is not the issue for me. I'm not gym averse. But I am definitely, I really do like food. I really like, what I mean by that is like, I like going out to a cafe to eat food.
Yep, me too.
I like going out to a restaurant to have a meal. I like sweet things. The bakery down the road
ice cream.
The ice cream's beautiful.
Do you go to the bakery down the road? Which bakery?
Man, I mean, obviously this was contributing to my problem.
Yeah.
But we used to live next door to it.
You mean back then?
No. I mean now.
Oh, you're still going there?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So you see,
I'm with you.
What had happened is we moved away. We moved away from the bakery.
Yeah.
And for a long period of time, I was like, that's shut off to me now.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hang on a second. It's about a 2-minute drive away.
Yeah.
So I've now just I just drive to it.
Yeah.
And
you can at least walk there.
So yeah, I mean I could walk there, but then you see the problem with walking there is if you walk there,
you're extra hungry. You eat twice as much.
You have to buy a coffee. Rather than make a coffee at home, so you lose the savings of the coffee because you've got to have the coffee with the donut.
With the donut.
You can't have something sweet without the coffee.
Yeah.
It's the combo.
Got to get that salted caramel cream donut.
Yeah.
With the coffee.
And so, definitely it was slipping. Things were slipping, and I fell into bad habits.
It's lucky that the chip shop next to our house shut down. I was very sad when that happened, and I still miss it sometimes. But it is for the best, because for the last year we would have been eating there a lot more a lot.
Nocturnal says that he's put on some weight and struggling with the fattening, so he's doing some regular exercising. Comfort eating, he said, is a problem. Yes, so he says no more gaining more weight, but you got to watch those calories.
Yeah, otherwise you won't be able to walk around Paris.
And also, that's the thing, is like, there's no great secret to weight loss.
Put in, burn more than you put in.
Yes, and you go, oh, well, if it's all so simple, why don't we all do it?
It's hard and it's boring.
And well, there's two things. It's like, obviously it means sacrificing all those nice things that give you some glimmer of hope in your otherwise meaningless existence.
Dull, glum existence.
Exactly. So, you have these bright points. It's like, well, I get to taste these nice things every day, and that's really, I take great pleasure in that. You take that off the table, that's gone. It's all boring food from now on. And it's not just a commitment to boring food, like, that's the thing. I think when we were younger, it could be a commitment to boring food for like a few months. Now it's a commitment to boring food forever, because if you stop doing that, you'll just get fat again.
Yeah.
And it's also, the other problem is, obviously, as you get older, it's harder to lose weight quicker. So, you look at this kind of 6 kg deficit, this 6 kg deficit, and you go, how easy was it to put on that 1 kg? It was easy. It took me a week. How hard is it going to be to work off that 1 kg? It's going to take me 3 or 4 weeks with good diet, with exercise. And that's not a good ratio, because again, you will, if you slip up, you get into this bigger and bigger weight deficits. But the true worst thing about diets for me, apart from all the things we mentioned, is that I just hate being hungry. Like, I hate the feeling of feeling hungry, like this gnawing, kind of distracting thing that kind of, for me at least, it's harder for me to concentrate on what I'm doing if I have that kind of, oh, fuck, I'm really, really hungry right now. Well, that's how you feel all the time when you're on a diet. It's legitimately, if it's working, that's how you feel, because that's how you know you're in the deficit, is because you're like, fuck, I'm really hungry. Because that's now, okay, cool. Now I know my body is burning calories. I'm now eating into my fat supplies because I'm really fucking hungry. All of this doesn't sound very good, but I'm putting it down here. I'm making it public on the podcast.
This is it. First episode of the year, 2023.
I know I've said this before.
Hey, Pigden is saying it.
I know I've said this on some of the other New Year's podcasts. I know I've said it. But I'm saying it now. Best shape of my life. Well, actually, I don't want to say that. I was going to say best shape of my life till when I hit 40, but I was like, oh, fuck, that's like 5 months away.
Fuck. Yeah, that's pretty close, mate. That's right around
really
the corner.
Dangerously close. I don't know if I can really do that realistically. Yeah. That's maybe maybe
that's what you need, a fire lit under your ass.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying best shape of my life is going to be, or at least a not abysmal shape of my life, back to a really good weight by my birthday, which is May 26th, if you want to send me some money through PayPal, which I will need because I'm also unemployed.
Yeah.
The good thing about being unemployed is the temptation to spend money on food is certainly less. So I got that going for me.
Yeah.
So that's really my New Year's resolution is, I've seen the fork on the road. I want to take the skinny because I don't want to be, this fat, obese man that's embarrassed when he looks at himself in the mirror, you know?
I'm with you. I feel all of that. So no beer for you then.
So the beer, to show my, I was going to say, to show my...
There you go. It's a nice cold chipper. This is from Garage Project. It's a lovely little brew.
My incredible restraint.
And it's actually probably a new fave of mine at the moment.
Yeah, it looks nice. So I can see it's cold, like it's
nice
glistening.
It's dripping
got the
down
moisture on the side. And it looks absolutely hazy.
It's a hazy.
But I will
we
also,
all love a hazy.
But I also
less
say
filtering.
that I sort of managed to, I did manage to drink myself to the point of being sick of drinking beer on my
Right.
holiday.
Yeah, yeah,
I really drunk a lot of beer, and I was getting to the point where it's like, I'm not even sure I'm enjoying this beer. I'm just having it because it's there. And unfortunately, there's a lot of that. I'm just having it because it's there when I'm on these holidays, which contributes to this thing. Nocturna says he's going to join me and or us both, because Harley's doing it too. Best shape of your life by 40. You've got even less time. Also, it's way harder for you.
Yeah.
You had a six-pack.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You had a rippling six-pack.
If I want to go back to the best shape of my life.
Really?
Okay, here's the thing, right? Now, listen, when I had good abs, right?
Yeah.
That was great. But I was also very young. And so the first excuse that you go to is, oh, well, my metabolism has slowed down. I'm 40 now. I'm not
Yeah.
18 anymore. I'm not 20. I'm 40, okay? My metabolism has slowed down. But upon closer inspection, that just doesn't really hold up to scrutiny. If you go at it with an open and honest mind, you're going to hang on a second. I was thinking about this. I was like, sure, okay, maybe my metabolism. Do I eat worse or better now? I probably eat better now than I used to when I was young, because I probably didn't give a shit,
Yeah.
So what is it? What's the big difference? Well, I'll tell you what the difference is. Every single day of my life, well, there is that. But when I was 18, I was walking everywhere. I was skating everywhere. I didn't have a car. I literally didn't have a car. When I was 20, I didn't have a car. So I had to walk. If I wanted to get somewhere, I had to walk, or at least walk to the bus stop. And then I was skateboarding everywhere. That was my principal means of transport, was skateboarding. And then for fun, I was going skateboarding. I'd go out and go skateboarding. And so I was just very active all the time. And I would walk to parties and then party all night and then walk home or skate. To be honest, skate. Normally I would skate to a party and skate home. And so it's like, I had this very physical means of transport of just getting around. And also I was just doing more, like, hey, yo, what's happening tomorrow? Okay, cool. Yeah, let's meet there. Let's go do this thing. Let's be social. Let's go out. Let's do this stuff. Well, I've got this things to do. Whereas now there's less and less of that, particularly now that I don't even have to go to a specific, office every day or anything like that. So I'm just not out and about and doing as many things physically as I was before.
Well, I vividly remember when I sort of came back before we shot the zombie film, I was working part-time as a window cleaner again to make ends meet, as I sort of wrote bits and pieces and tried to develop those things. And I would bike to town. This is in Dunedin. I would bike to town. Then on our lunch break, I would go to the gym and do 45 minutes on the rower.
Yeah.
And this is either side of window cleaning, which in itself is a very physical job.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then I'd bike home, obviously. And it's like, how many friggin' calories was I burning in that time, which I will never, ever recreate at the gym now.
No. Well, exactly. And my jobs as well, same deal. More physical.
So there is that, but also no doubt the metabolism has also slowed down. It's just all negative.
Yeah.
It's just a huge, huge hill to climb. It's really, really big. I
feel like if I ate exactly the same with my current metabolism, but I moved as much as I did when I was 20, that I would probably be totally fine. Probably still have those abs. I'm just not moving that much. That's the big problem. Not enough moving. And yeah, sure, I consume a bit more beer than I used to.
Well, don't you drink a beer every day?
Most days I drink a beer. Most days I'll have a beer.
I mean, there is a lot of studies to suggest that not only is beer, obviously fattening and not good and full of carbs and all that sort of thing, but that it does inhibit your muscle recovery and that as well. So,
well,
so you just have to.
That's
switch,
really sad.
You just have to switch to hard spirits. Well, that's the only thing for us to switch to hard spirits. I alternate.
Exactly. No, I drink the hard spirits in order to counteract the beer. See, you drink them at the same time.
But yeah, so I might even get myself a calendar that I could just cross each day that I don't eat shit.
Like a recovering alcoholic.
Well, this is the other thing.
Just take it day by day, buddy.
Well, and absolutely, because I think this is very important to acknowledge too, is that to a degree, all these bad foods are as addictive as any addictive sort of thing that you can do. Like, you know, sugar is very addictive. Like the things that they put inside McDonald's fries, like MSG and all that sort of thing, is very addictive. It make you want to crave more. You can't, and so the idea, and I have to sort of kind of think about this too, is that you have to strike a balance. You have to, just like an addict, like a recovering food crack addict, you have to wean yourself off.
Crackled pork addict.
Yeah, wean yourself off all this stuff. You can't just go cold turkey, because what's going to happen if you could just completely go cold turkey and go, sweet, I'm on the best diet ever, is like you last 2 or 3 days and go, fuck, I'm dying. I just need to have something sweet. And then you get an overdose on M&Ms and a salted caramel thing from down the road.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that striking that balance though between like, okay, I can't just go completely cold turkey on all this stuff, but I do have to, but I also can't use that as an excuse to go, oh, I've earned it. I've earned that donut.
Yeah.
I've earned it. I've done well for 4 days. I've done so well.
I feel like you do so much exercise that it should be you must eat really badly considering how much exercise you do, because you got your training for the wrestling. That's you know, it seems like it's like a couple of times a week pretty much. Then you got however many shows you do, which must be huge. You know, like lots of calories burnt at those shows. And then there's all the just regular gymming, which you seem to do like 3 to 4 times a week. How many times a week do you go to the gym?
Probably 3 times most of the time, sometimes 4 times if I'm lucky.
But then training on top, right?
Yeah, but there hasn't been any training.
Not recently because it's Christmas.
But not even before Christmas. So there hasn't been any training for like the last 3 months.
Right.
And there's no training going on, which is part of the problem for sure. A huge part of the problem.
Yeah.
But also the wrestling is only once a month or once every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So all of that is actually greatly diminished. If I was doing, it would be much easier if I was training twice a week and going to the gym 3 times a week and wrestling every weekend. I'm not doing that. And I won't be doing that in 2023.
Right.
So wrestling's not going to help me. So to be honest, I actually don't do that much exercise because yes, in those 3 times that I go to the gym for 1 to 2 hours, 3 times a week, I do a lot of exercise. But in the entire rest of my time, unless I'm going for a shoot, I'm doing absolutely nothing. I'm sitting at the computer. So actually, if you probably gauged my, you'd probably go, cool, that 3 times a week gym is good. It's actually not enough for the amount of sedentary doing nothing that you do in the rest of your time. Exercise-wise, you should be exercising more. You should be going for a walk every day as well. But I don't. So, it's problematic. It's problematic.
Well, after this show, we're having a barbecue in the backyard.
And all I'm going to do is, I'm just going to eat the meat.
Yeah. Well, it's all meat. There's just all meat.
I just won't have any bread.
Right. Oh, yeah, well, that's good because actually we didn't buy any bread, so don't worry.
And
I actually forgot about the bread.
Oh, good.
So there's no bread. There's no bread barbecue.
Nothing to worry about.
So you just hold the sausage with your hand. Just a hot sausage. Just hold it with your hand.
Scalding hot sausage.
Just hold it with your hand.
And then burn your hand, burn your mouth when you put it in.
Yeah.
Genius.
So that's good.
Great barbecue.
Great barbecue.
So I'm not too worried about that, actually. Although
it's mostly just going to be meat on a grill, a wee bit of salad.
Today I had an omelette.
Yeah.
1 piece of chocolate, 1 little
square of chocolate.
Lindau chocolate ball.
Yeah.
And then whatever you're going to be serving up at the barbecue.
Yeah.
So that's the start of my diet. The diet starts today.
No, well, it's got to start tomorrow, I feel, with this barbecue. But
no, meat's okay.
No, meat's okay. It is, yeah.
I mean,
it's
some of the meat
grill,
that you're cooking is probably not.
There's some pork and there's some steak.
Yeah.
The steak will be all right.
I'll be fine.
Well, so you want to get a little more trim. So do I, to be honest. Like, obviously, I'm the fattest I've ever been.
Yep.
I'm currently the fattest and oldest I've ever been in my life.
Yep.
And that's a bad combination. That's a lethal combination. And so I would like to, exercise more consistently is my thing because my exercising, I do go anywhere from 1 to 3 times, anywhere from 0 to 3 times per week.
That's not a lot if it's that zero, though, is it?
Well, occasionally, like this week, I haven't had the chance, but it's not my fault. The bloody gym's got really shit hours, particularly over the public holidays.
Yeah.
So they've just got shit hours is the problem. They close way too early. They're fucking annoying. But I like the gym, and I don't want to go to another one. And so, yes. Anyway, I haven't had the chance to go this week, but usually 0 to 3 times. Would love to get, in better shape this year because I do look in the mirror and I don't feel the same sense of confidence that I once did.
No.
When I look at my schlubbiness.
You might say, there's a sense of shame washes over you.
Guilt, denial. You just like avert your eyes. You just stop looking at yourself in the mirror because you're such a fat, short, bald piece of shit.
And also you go, what is the other person, your significant other,
gonna think of all
when
of
you're
this
heaving away on top of them?
Well,
it's how could you be attracted to that?
Yeah, how could you possibly? You're looking in the mirror and you're like, how is my partner possibly going to be attracted to this? Yeah.
Partners are very forgiving, luckily, but they can only, they can forgive, but they can't forget.
They can't forget.
That shows traumatic images. That
no, George. There's good naked and there's bad naked. What do you mean, Jerry? Good naked and bad naked? It's all good.
Yeah, so it's quite funny. Yes, so I was walking around with my top off this morning.
Yeah,
and I looked at myself side profile in the mirror.
Yeah,
and I was like, God, this.
What have I become?
This is disgusting to me, and I'm me. So
imagine how anybody else feels about it.
Yeah. So that's definitely my big goal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I haven't had the chance to formulate a clear goal yet, but I would like to do more acting, and I would like to do more filmmaking and more making money from the producing and acting and filmmaking side of my career than from the broadcasting freelancing side of my career. But
great goal.
I also want to grow the broadcasting and freelancing side as well at the same time. But I want to have, normally I make more money from my broadcasting and freelancing than from my filmmaking. I want to switch that. I want to switch that around.
Yeah.
And continue to grow them both though. So yeah, that's kind of one of my goals, and move away from hourly rate jobs, even if they're good freelance hourly rates, move away from those and move into the half day, full day rate type jobs.
Yeah.
Because if you get those half day, full day jobs and you do 1 or 2 of them a day, if you do 2 half days at 2 places, that's actually pretty sweet money.
Oh yeah.
So I'd like to do a bit more of that type of stuff, a bit more creativity and acting and that type of thing. Sure, lose a little bit of weight, be a bit more healthy.
Well, yes, I guess one of my
that's about it, really.
One of my big goals is not to be forced back onto Uber again.
Yeah, you won't, mate.
Which is looming. It's looming like the sword of Damocles.
Yeah, dangling.
Yeah.
Directly above.
Just waiting. I was just thinking about it. I was just watching my money that I have trickle away on this holiday.
Well, have you got a good runway?
I've got a good runway.
Yeah,
but I kind of don't want to. I kind of want to keep it.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. Going on flashy holidays. Because we didn't even talk about this, but you've just been traveling all around the country.
Nelson,
Dunedin, Queenstown, Nelson.
Dunedin. And
all beautiful places.
But also, and that's the thing. Had I still been employed on this holiday,
ching,
exactly. Exactly. I'd be making it rain.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I had this gnawing, nagging feeling in the back of my head on every single purchase. Like not just on a big expense.
Yeah.
Like every single time I got my card out, I was like,
I'm gonna regret this.
This is just hurting me. Every single thing I'm doing is hurting me right now.
Well, especially heading into a recession.
Yeah, and I was just sort of like, this is, I'm here now. I've got to do it. I'm going to try and enjoy it. But on the same token, there's this gnawing sensation, this in my gut, along with it exploding outwards due to the fattening. But also just that it's just like, this is not good for you in a couple of weeks when you get back. And so, yeah, that was the hard part is like we went on a holiday, we saw some cool sights. It was a lot of fun. I got some opportunity to spend some time with my grandma, which was absolutely priceless. And to be honest, if it wasn't for that, I may well have just packed it all in.
Yeah.
And been like, look,
I can't
it's
do
just
all this.
unrealistic. It's
Yeah.
just stupid to do this. It's stupid
Yeah.
to spend thousands of dollars right now
Yeah.
when I literally have no income.
Yeah.
Or not no income, but only my freelance income.
Yeah.
And so this is absolute madness to do this right now. And not only that, you know, I
think it's going to be fine.
I switched my insurance company.
Yeah.
So I got smashed with that bill
Yeah.
of $3,800.
Yeah.
Which was, again, just not something that you just feel bad whenever you pay anything that large an amount out.
Yeah.
For something that you can't see, touch, anything. It's purely peace of mind that, you know, should something bad happen, that you'll probably, unless they find a way to weasel out of it, which they often do, you'll probably be reimbursed for your equipment. But, you know, it was just something that I kind of had to do. And there's just a lot of those things around the holiday as well. That was just kind of like, damn, man, well, I just got to stop spending money. And every day I seem to be spending more money.
That's how it works on holiday, mate. That's how it works.
Queenstown, I do not, I recommend it's a beautiful place to go and spend some time. It is obscenely expensive. Like, obscenely. Like, you know, you're absolutely hemorrhaging money. Nelson is a lot better. And there's a lot of things that you like. The problem with Queenstown is, apart from go for a walk, you can't do anything for free. There's just nothing you can do of like the things you can do that don't cost money and don't cost an exorbitant amount of money. Whereas Nelson, you can just go to nice beaches and places like that, beautiful picturesque spots, go on walks, but like, you know, these nature reserves and stuff, and it is free. And so that was the big difference there. Also, just the cost of living is cheaper in Nelson.
So New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
You spent it with the fam, yeah?
Yep.
I went to a Latino party. It was with She Who Shall Be Named. Shout out to She Who Shall Be Named.
Yeah.
Watching on the live stream.
Yep.
Went to a Latino party. That was good fun. And good food, delicious food, good people, very friendly. But at about 1 a.m., I looked around the party, and I realized that I was the only bald man at that party.
Shit.
Yeah, I looked around. I was the only bald man at that party.
This is how people get lynched, you know.
I was like, this is just like Get Out. This is just like Get Out. Now I know how he feels. I was a little worried that the hairy heads were going to like get together and, you know, collude in some secret sort of, you know, conspiracy against me.
You quickly like put your cap on, like you adjusted your cap tighter, so that
it didn't blow
there was
off in the wind.
no exactly.
Yeah, there was no chance, you know. And then just one tear just rolled down my cheek.
Yeah, the smile cry emoji.
Yeah.
My favorite emoji now. Just sums up so many situations I feel in life now.
Yeah.
This a half smile cry emoji. That was you. And,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of money, you not having money and all these things, we did also get rejected for not one, but between us, but 3 funding applications.
It's good.
So
Great. They were fun to do.
That was a lot of work.
We did talk about how much work they were.
Yeah.
More work than passing, more work than getting qualified to teach people at a tertiary level here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Well, we found out we didn't get those.
Yeah, so we applied for 2 Catalyst fundings.
Beautiful Christmas present.
Those are $100,000 each.
Merry Christmas, guys. You fucking failed.
And also a Fresh Shorts application, which was $25,000. None of those got picked up, sadly.
Fuckers.
Yeah, I thought I was in with a chance. I was like, I'm associated with 3 different applications, you know.
You really spread yourself around.
Yeah. I was like, surely. surely I've got a chance here.
Something's got to give.
But no, none of that.
Nocturnal was advocating for a trip to Cannes.
Yeah.
To pick up some international investors. Well, look.
Yeah, well, he says that earlier as well in the comments. He says, Pigville to Cannes. Let's go. Let's do it. Cannes. Cannes. Oh, shit. We accidentally went to the Cairns Film Festival.
In Australia.
In Australia. This place is a shithole.
He's got Cannes.
That should be in the project.
He's got Cannes on the mind.
We should think we got into Cannes and we get onto Cairns.
Cairns.
Yeah. And we travel there. And then I get there and I'm really disappointed. And you're like, no, it's good.
It's good. Yeah, well, I would love to do that. My only reluctance being we've just talked about the fact
poor I am.
Yeah, that I've spent a lot of money.
But what's the plan? Let's go to Cannes, pick up those international investors. So we just go there and we're just like, yo, what's up, investors? Like,
here's a great idea.
Invest in us.
Here's a great idea for a movie.
Yeah.
Here's a great idea for a found footage horror film. He's always gone alone, but with a team it would be amazing, especially with you guys because we're charismatic as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, we are.
Shout out to Jason Combs.
Also broke as fuck.
Well, I'm not broke as fuck yet. As far as I'm aware, I've got my work is going to pick up when it normally does. Normally it picks up around January, February every year. And I'm really busy at one of my other employers who really needs me over Christmas. So it's like, it's all kind of working out so far. And my assumption is that it's going to stay busy for me. But maybe I'm just being, naively optimistic.
Well, it all depends if the bottom falls out with this recession thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. Shout out to Lynette Harris as well on the live stream. She wants to know more about the wrestling in a minute. Jason P. Diddy Combs says it's an amazing picture of mine.
Yep.
Joanna
the
Sequa.
Girl with a pearl necklace.
Joanna Sequa says, nice, the first barbecue of the year 2023.
Yep.
Yeah. And something else Nocturnal said earlier, which I thought was interesting, was the idea of a laser-focused Pigville Productions in 2023. I'll join you in your health goals this year, Guy, as you're talking to you. Healthier, happier, and laser-focused Pigville for 2023. Hell yeah.
Well, I would also say one of my other New Year's goals would be to tee up the next feature film.
Yeah.
To write the thing that we're going to shoot.
Yeah.
Or to write a couple of things.
Well, I'd like to shoot something else this year.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of the year. To shoot something in the year 2023.
Yeah, well, it would be really
substantial.
cool to. I just feel like we could get this found footage one cranking. I feel like we could do it.
Yeah.
But we've got to get on and write
The
it.
long track.
But I also feel like there's an opportunity to. Why not both? Why not do the anthology? Like, why not shoot some of the anthology while we're going?
Yeah.
I feel like
Take the pain. I want to shoot Take the Pain.
Those things are possible that we could have a crack at both of those things.
And so what we do is we, instead of spending our money on shooting them ourselves independently, we'll spend our money on going to Cannes for a boys' trip
to get the money.
Sam Wheeler to get the real money. Yes.
So, yeah, well, actually, I'd love to see. So, yeah, Nocturne says he's been putting together, pitching resources for my projects and happy to put together stuff for us as well. That would be really cool, Sam. And I will say, we didn't really talk that much about it last time, but this whole AI revolution that's happening at the moment. Have you heard about this?
Have you heard about this?
You part of this?
This chat GP or GTP or
GPT?
GPT?
Yep.
I recently just finished a book on AI, so it was quite good timing.
I feel like you say you finished a book with AI.
I finished a
as
book
in they
writing
wrote,
it. Yeah,
they wrote it for you, and you'll be publishing it.
I would love to use it as a prompt for poetry. So you're writing your poem, right? You input some of your stuff,
Yep.
and you just ask it for something else, and you kind of like base you get it to base, the knowledge base that it has is based off my existing poetry and poetry or other music that influences me and inspires me. You put it all in and see what prompts it gives you, and then you use those to build, something original from yourself.
You steal those as part of what you originally create.
Well, it is, if you're inputting your own poems at the beginning and and teaching it and training it on your own content, as well as training it on things that influence you, and then it gives you a prompt, and then you write the rest of it. I'm not saying it gives you a whole poem and you print it.
Well, what I'm kind of interested in is and look, all these AI ones have been very validly criticized for essentially stealing people's work.
That's why it was
and
really
mashing it up.
It was great to see some Mickey Mouse ones that have been created in order to evoke the rage of Disney. Yeah, like where they took Mickey Mouse and they had him stabbing people and doing stuff that you could never do that with Mickey Mouse because Disney would sue you. But now, who does Disney sue? The AI, and so it's interesting because now Disney is probably gonna be forced to step in at some point, and other companies, and defend their IP, and maybe crush these chat bots and art creators. I know we're mixing up the AIs here because obviously there's two different AIs, there's different ones. There's chat one's different, but
well, I'm quite interested in the idea of, as we're talking about sort of pitch documents, is putting together artwork for pitch projects, which normally you just, generally speaking, you just source that stuff from the internet anyway. But you don't have the ability to customize it to your specific project that easily. Now, I don't feel like this is a bad way to use AI because you're not using it you're not this artwork that you're stealing is being used to pitch on something that will never exist, as in no one's paying for that artwork, as in you're not stealing it to sell it or anything like that. You're stealing it to use as a visualization tool for something very specific that will only ever be used to go, hey, imagine how the film might be. It might look sort of like this. And so I feel like in terms of what AI can do, that's the kind of the good part of AI, as opposed to, although of course it is still stealing artwork to create that. But it's like, what else am I going to do? I'm going to do exactly what we did for those Catalyst pitches, which is go and type in Google a bunch of images and try and find images that align with my vision of whatever the film is.
Yeah.
So it's
your director's vision.
Yeah, which is, so it's not doing it. And how am I going to create I actually saw some a fascinating pitch, because they call them pitch decks. A pitch deck for the film that came out one of the films that came out recently, and it was just like the trailer for. It was a teaser for what was part of the Barbarian pitch. Barbarian being a horror film, a really cool horror film that's recently come out. And he put that up online. And it's just, cut together visuals from other films overdone with his voiceover and music and stuff like that. And so using AI to create artwork and stuff like this is actually something that could be really helpful for creators, because otherwise you're only just Google picking images basically, which is going to come up with essentially less effective examples that are further away from what you want, because you're just going, hey, it's kind of like The Exorcist, instead of going, hey, this is my interpretation, feed that into the AI machine and see what it comes up with with its 10 hands on either side.
Yeah, the hands are weird. It is weird, but
can't get the hands right.
Can't get the hands right. Hands are hard though. I remember, when you're a kid, you try to draw hands. They look like shit.
It makes sense. The hands are very hard to draw. So of course, what the AI struggles with most is not doing 50 hands.
Yeah.
Nocturnal says he's been putting together. He's converted 5 of his feature scripts into novels using ChatGPT before selling them on Amazon. And I thought that was also very interesting. Jason Coombs says he listened to a very scary podcast about universal AI and one that can take on any task. Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting because if you look at the conversation around AI at the moment, is they're like, look, it's scary, But
what are you going to do about it?
well, but it's really useful. Is kind of how it's being framed now. Like, it's scary, but it's really useful. And here's some examples of how you can use it. But it'll never replace us.
Yeah.
Basically being the kind of in tag to that.
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
oh, I don't know. If you train it well enough, maybe it will.
Yeah.
And, it's like, yes, this infancy AI is not as good as humans as doing these things.
But it will replace us.
But and they're talking about, because it can never be creative. And it's like, it can be created based off all the creative people in the online. And become essentially more creative.
But also, exactly, because creative is subjective, like as in your definition of creative varies, and you've got to define what creative means. So if you put a human in a hole, you make them be creative in how they escape from that hole. That's them being creative. If you put an AI in a hole, it could also get out using what would be defined as creativity in order to figure its way out of this hole, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't think we're too far away from like, Hollywood being like, hey, ChatGPT, write me the next blockbuster film, please.
And it goes beep, beep, doop, boop, boop.
There you go.
Actually, the book that I just finished reading about AI basically starts like that. It sort of says, it gets you to imagine a potential future, or not even, a potential current affair. And basically that this program comes out, they can write scripts, and actually, so what they do is they teach it to animate, and they go, cool, well, instead of just writing the scripts, how about you animate them too? So it writes and animates scripts based on what the audience is going to like most and what's going to resonate with the audience. And it analyzes, millions of other movies and Lion King and Titanic and anything else that's popular, and figures out the formulas that make those things alluring to humans. Then they do these animations, and these animations are really compelling, and people are really get into them, and they start making these amazing animations and pretending it's a real studio, but actually it's a artificial intelligence, and it basically grows from there, and it does a lot of different types of tasks online to generate millions of dollars. For example, working on MTurk, which is a Amazon thing, I think it's Amazon, where you can do menial tasks that robots can't do, like captures, like identifying crosswalks in photos and shit like that. You can earn money that way. Well, this AI does that in order to earn money. It's quite an interesting idea that and then it grows and takes over the world, basically. So it's basically exactly what you're saying, except for with the animation. Yeah.
So I'm not looking forward to the full replacement.
Look, I am. Fucking replace me, baby. Replace me, daddy. I'm just going to chill. I'll just be like creating art, making babies, I guess, procreating, just doing those things that I'm meant to do, and living in like a human paradise.
That Elon Musk has told you to do.
Robots, and just do whatever Elon tells me to do. Just tell
procreating infinitely, because that's our only function here on this earth.
It's the whole reason we're here, to pass on our genes. It's the whole reason we're here.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Elon Musk,
Daddy Elon,
Daddy Musk, hashtag Daddy Musk, Callum McDonald says, Harley's drunk the musky Kool-Aid. That was one of his comments.
Although Richard did say, commenting that notorious right-wing Richard came up
he jumped to my defense.
Did jump to your defense. I don't know if we should read anything into that, but he did say, he goes, Guy, you've become far more left-leaning in the last couple of years. Now, I'm not sure if that's true.
But he also said...
But it might be.
But he also said that Elon is not right-wing.
That's true. He did say that.
And he would know.
And I said, do you follow him on Twitter? And he said no.
No. Yeah, but I follow him on Twitter. I haven't seen anything right-wing yet. It's all centrist, mate. This is centrist. He's like an anarchist. He's like a corporate, like a capitalist anarchist, a libertarian or something.
He's certainly a capitalist. There's no doubt about that.
He absolutely believes in capitalism and the free market, and he thinks that people should be able to basically do what they want as long as they're not hurting other people, which, doesn't sound that bad to me. But while I do like to make my jokes about hashtag Daddy Musk, there's actually heaps of things that I don't really agree with. His antics. I'm like, whatever. Like his, buying Twitter and all that. I don't really care about that. And he was anti the lockdowns during lockdown. He was anti-lockdown because he didn't want to shut down his factories.
Yeah.
But none of that is enough for me to be like, oh well, I'm abandoning this man because he believes something slightly different than me and he's tweeted something different than me. Really I do think that he's a bit of a genius, and I do believe in his mission, his stated goal, transform humanity into a renewable energy civilization and become interplanetary and maybe even interstellar. And these are things I can get behind. That's the kind of millionaire or billionaire that I wanted to be. If I was a kid, it'd be like, man, that's the type of thing I'd want to do. More space travel and, more peace on Earth. More peace on Earth and more space travel, and he's doing all of those things that I want to do, would like to do. So, and also I do really believe that Tesla is big time on the way back up. Like it's going to be, as in I think I'm going to be very happy, to be an investor a few years from now when I'm looking back. I'm like, well, I'm glad that I was buying when everybody else was scared during the recession. I was mortgaging the house, putting it all on Tesla.
Because it's dipped again. Still dipping.
I'm still buying.
It's heading down.
I'm still
it's
buying.
Further. It's just going further.
I'm still buying. It's all FUD. It's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And it's all based on nonsense. It's all like, oh, he bought Twitter. Okay, what's that got to do with cars?
Well, what it does have to do with cars is that he runs Twitter.
Yeah.
Not that he just bought Twitter, and that his attention is now being
be
100% diverted.
Absolutely.
Not only that, but that's not just like a general criticism, but one of the premier shareholders in Tesla, the second or third highest shareholder in Tesla, was like, either Elon resigns from Tesla or basically was like, because no one's running Tesla right now.
Right, but that's not true. There's 110,000 people that work at Tesla, and there's a board of directors that, he comes in and he makes decisions and he works on things, but he doesn't, there's a whole team that does the day-to-day work all around the world. And so
But I'm pretty confident.
But also he's still doing all of that. Like if you look at Tesla, right? So that's fine for that person to say that, it's a big distraction. But actually, if you look at the actual how it's running, how the company is running, what's happening. And it's like, okay, they're selling more cars than ever. They're producing as many cars as they want and growing hugely in a market which is growing hugely. The electric vehicle market is in its infancy, and these are the biggest player in this, what is soon going to be a very huge industry. It's going to replace internal combustion engines. This is like inventing the first car and competing against people that sell wagons and horses. They're going to be, it's going to be huge. They're going to be really, really huge. And he's doing great and it's all working. And he's you've got the SpaceX as well, amazing, pushing boundaries, advancing space technology, all of this stuff. He's just doing it all right.
I think it's a valid criticism to say you should concentrate on running one.
But he doesn't need to. That's what you would say about SpaceX, though. When he was making Tesla, you go, oh, well, you can't go and be the CEO of a rocket company as well. And it's like, well, he did, and he was hugely successful. And he sent, he's reinvented rockets. They basically used to go up and you could use them once. So you want to send something into space, you send it up once. Now he's developed reusable rockets that come back down and land themselves, and then you can restock them and send them back up again. Like that's revolution in space travel, and that's allowed him to then do things like Starlink, which is his satellite internet that you can get anywhere that he wants you to get it, even in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, I mean, he can do it and he is doing it, and now he's just added Twitter to it. But this Twitter thing is just an annoying, it wasn't even annoying, it's just a distraction. I voted in his poll of whether he should be CEO of Twitter or not, and I said no. I voted no. I was like, no, don't be the CEO of Twitter. Who gives a shit about this fucking social media platform?
That's the thing, though, isn't it? Because he was like, the polls, I live and die by the polls.
Yeah.
Polls do everything. And then they vote. And then he was
isn't
like,
that cool? Isn't that so admirable that he's like, yeah,
only if he sticks to it.
Yeah, but he's announced that, okay, so someone else is going to take it. But I mean, obviously it's nonsense because he was never going to stay the CEO of Twitter for a long time. He's come in, he's set it up, he's got rid of all the useless people. He's streamlining everything. He's updating things. He's getting it up and running, and then he's going to, relinquish that role to whoever, somebody. So I don't think it was ever his plan to long term be the CEO. His plan is still SpaceX and Tesla.
It sort of really depends on what his final agenda for Twitter is, actually.
Well, he says, and he's been pretty good about in the past, saying what his goals are, stating his objectives. It's called the Tesla Master Plan, right? He states his objectives and then does them. So my understanding of it is that he wants to create like a WeChat type platform where everybody can do everything. You can go there, and keep in mind he has a history with PayPal, so you can go there, you can do your banking on Twitter, so you can pay people. You can pay people via Twitter, via a PayPal type thing, but it's on Twitter. The verified people, so there's two conversations, there's two streams. There's the unverified stream, which is just the free-for-all bullshit with all the loonies and the conspiracy nonsense and all that stuff. And then you've got the people who have paid the $9 or the $8 or whatever to be verified. And then you are verified that really is your account. You've proven it with your passport. It's you're an actual person. So when you get up there and you post things, there is some accountability back to you, whoever you are, if you're going to be a troll or a racist or whatever it is, so yeah, it sounds like it could kind of work. It tidies it all up. So yeah, that being said though, right, there is kind of like other forces at play at the moment.
There's 2 a.m. Elon, and there's middle of the day Elon, as far as I could see with his tweets.
Yeah.
2 a.m. Elon, he's a bit off the rails. He's been working for 15, 16 hours, and that's when the silly shit comes in.
Yeah. Well, I have reason to believe that he microdoses LSD, and I don't know.
Oh, you can say microdoses fucking speed.
Yeah. No, I think he probably dabbles in some recreational drugs, probably at 2 a.m, whether it's LSD or weed and stuff like that. I haven't heard anything about anything too serious. But I'm not too much of a conspiracy believer, as you know, Guy. I don't, but I understand that conspiracies are real. They are real. There are some conspiracies, but I've always, agreed with Occam's razor, this idea that the simplest answer is the correct answer.
I do also share that one.
But there are some powerful and dark forces actively working against Tesla and Elon Musk, I'm sure, right? Because you've got people from the fossil fuel industry. They don't want this electric car revolution. They never have. They've repressed it for decades. They've held back humanity and poisoned millions of us for decades. People from the legacy automotive industry, same deal. They're in cahoots with the fossil fuels people, right? And then you've got both sides of the government bird, the left wing and the right wing. It's all the same bird. And both sides are unhappy with Elon for different reasons, right? And then there's people who have just like invested in the stock and like shorted the stock. So they're betting that the stock will go down. They want it to go down. So what they can do is, if you work in the media, right, you can bet against the stock and then release a hit piece against it. You go, oh, Tesla needs to be charged 6 times per day in the cold weather, right? The stock goes down, and because you bet that it would go down, you make money, right? So there's vested interests that a lot of people, have, and so they're driving it down. But at the same time, I reckon there's going to be some people who have a vested interest in driving it down in order to buy big now. So big investors are going to be buying like while it's cheap, right? And then you let it go. You stop with the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You stop with the hit pieces and all the Elon bullshit. And what happens? The stock bounces back, and all these people make a buttload of cash. I'm gonna be one of them. That's my plan. You got to. I made my bed, and now I'm sleeping in it. And I think I've made the right choice. I would have liked to have bought a house, but COVID kind of jumped in and the world got crazy.
but your Tesla stock went down too much.
No, I mean, before I even started, well, not before I started buying, but I was about to buy a house at the beginning of 2020. I was there. I was looking at houses. I was pre-approved. I was looking at houses. It was good to go. And then March 2020, bam, COVID. So, what do you do instead? Well, you invest in the stock market when it dropped drastically, because the stock market dropped.
How much money is your stock worth in Tesla from when you originally bought it to now?
Well, obviously, so it's slightly complicated because I bought some on a different website, doubled my money, sold it, and then put it into a term deposit, a high interest term deposit when the interest rates started going up in order to diversify. Right. But then on the other one, on Sharesies, I've just held on to it all and I'm continuing to buy it. And currently it is down. I am not making money on Tesla at the moment. It's true. But I mean, Jesus, I mean, like this is the worst time. We've got this crazy environment with the war. You've got the COVID. You've got the everything else that's been going on at the moment, all the nonsense. And it's like, cool, well, now obviously it is going to be down, but they're all down. If you go and have a look at the stock market and you look at Amazon, it looks exactly the same as Tesla. If you look at Alphabet, which is the Google parent company, it looks exactly the same as Tesla. All of these huge, amazing Apple looks exactly the same as Tesla. They're all going down. But you know what's funny? None of the CEOs of those companies bought Twitter. And yet it all looks the same. They're all down sort of 50%, 40%, 60%. They're all down hugely from their absolute peak. And none of them bought Twitter. Isn't that weird? What it is it's the macro environment. It's none of this short-term bullshit is just not relevant. It's the macro environment. It's the war, the pandemic, whatever else, inflation, supply chain issues, or whatever's going on in the world. And all of this stuff, while bad, is hopefully going to pass. We have to hope it is going to pass. And if it's not going to pass, if we're going to go into the end of days and it's going to be the apocalypse, well, then money's fucking useless anyway. It's a bunch of zeros and ones in the bank. It's a bunch of zeros and ones. It's imaginary money.
Should have invested in gold.
Exactly. Should have invested in fucking gunpowder and fucking...
Well, speaking of
shit like that.
investing in nothing, obviously there's the crypto crash as well.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of crypto too.
Well, I wanted to ask, you weren't using FTX for any of your crypto?
No.
What were you using?
It's called...
Was it just a smaller one, or was it one of the other ones? It's not a huge one,
to be honest. It's not Coinbase. So it
wasn't like Binance?
No, it wasn't Binance or Coinbase. I should probably switch. I've got Coinbase. I should probably switch over there. But I did have one... Oh, Jack's Liberty.
No need to panic.
Mate, my money's still there. But to be honest, it's not real money. It's just internet money anyway. I just funneled some internet money into these cryptocurrencies. I put 2,000 New Zealand dollars, and it's slightly down. Now it's in US dollars. It's about 600 US dollars now. So I think I'm down about 800 Kiwi dollars or something like that. I'm not sure.
I do have to wonder about our friend, Irish friend Ian, who got rich off crypto, and whether or not he's still rich, and whether or not he had his crypto, he used FTX for his crypto management, because obviously, I've gone down a rabbit hole, a crypto FTX rabbit hole, despite not owning any. Just because I wanted to understand
what the fuck was going on,
what happened. And what sort of, created this crash, which was really the whole FTX thing. Or at least a lot of it was due to that. And it's pretty fascinating stuff. I recommend if you want to. And I was also quite interested in the idea of what, essentially all these influencers that are essentially scamming all their fans by rug pulling crypto, by essentially creating these either NFTs or some other such shit. Completely meaningless bullshit.
I've got an NFT. It's for my half hairy meme. I've got a half hairy NFT.
But you're not selling that, right?
I could if I wanted to.
But you're holding on to it currently.
That's a hodl, that one. That's a hodl. Absolutely. That's a hodl. That half hairy NFT. I don't want to sell that until I know what it's worth.
But I just understanding the whole concept of essentially, all these influencers, and the most recent one being Logan Paul, which is quite interesting because Logan Paul's just been in the new, been wrestling for WWE, and has had all this kind of, they call it a career resurgence after he filmed those dead people in the forest, the suicide forest, and did that apology, and then he was like, oh, he's been cancelled, and then he's uncancelled himself, and he's got his podcast and all this stuff, and now there's this whole, what has just recently broken is this big scam around his NFT crypto thing that he was doing, and how essentially he's now potentially scammed all his fans, which is a trend with influencers that seems to be repeating over and over again with all these multiple different sort of essentially YouTube influencers who get their fans to buy up these NFTs and then the value of them spikes. They sell all their shares in them, and then leave the project, essentially, and then the money, they crash, the value crashes, and all the people that are invested lose all their money, but they don't. They've already cashed out. And it's also, similar to insider trading and I can't remember the other thing, but essentially, and it's no different to the illegal thing. That's the problem, and that's what I've learned is one of the problems with cryptocurrency is that because it's unregulated, there essentially is very little repercussions for doing this, which is why, when we say, it's crypto's the future, there's some problems with that, and the FTX thing has also proven that, which is that you can still essentially to be doing just as horrifically illegal things with crypto as you could be, which they said, you couldn't. They said that's the whole thing about crypto is that it can't be manipulated in the same way. But
it can be.
But it can be.
But it totally can be.
But it totally can be and has been. And we're sort of seeing that with the Sam Friedman.
What? Fried Bankman. It's Sam Fried
Bankman. Yeah.
So Sam Fried Bankman.
But it's all quite just very fascinating to me how many influencers are willing to kind of essentially profit off people's faith and belief in them for ill-gotten gains, essentially. And so, Logan Paul is scheduled to do a response to these accusations today or tomorrow. And so that will be interesting to see. But I just thought it was all pretty fascinating. But also this whole idea of what used to happen on the stock market, which is you drive the stock up by all these people coming on board and hyping it up. Everyone invests.
Everybody jumps off.
Everyone jumps off and it crashes. And that's just happening exactly the same, which is now illegal. In the stock market.
But you can artificially manufacture it, which is what was happening with GME, GameStop and all that. You can make it happen,
but
and
even
still get
then,
away with it.
the regulators stepped in, right, with the GameStop one.
Probably.
Because of that, specifically because of that. But it's even easier because there's no regulations in the crypto market and the NFTs. All it suggested to me was that NFTs are even more bullshit than I thought they originally were. They're even more
bullshit than you thought.
Even more of a poor investment, generally speaking, than I imagined when I didn't really understand them. Because essentially, the difference is you've got these NFTs, right, which are because it is kind of the stock market, right, the digital stock market. But essentially, rather than having shares in Apple, which sells Apple products, you have a fucking picture of a fucking moose.
Well, that's why I wanted to buy Tesla stock throughout COVID, right? I was down to buy Tesla stock.
A digital picture of a moose.
People were into crypto, and I was like, cool. It sounds interesting, but I literally own a part of Tesla or Apple. I am a stockholder. I am an official owner of that company. You may bow before me, as I am an owner in the company of Apple. I earn dividends from Apple, right? That's cool. I've got something physical and it pays me not physical, but I've got something. I own something and I've got dividends coming in. It's actually earning me money, right? So it's you got these cryptos and it's I'm just not quite on board yet. Maybe I haven't switched my mindset enough into the digital future metaverse mindset enough, but
the failing metaverse,
the horribly failing metaverse. Can you believe this? That in 2020, Bob Dylan released a song called Goodbye Jimmy Reed. I shit you not.
I did not know that.
I'm going to do the lyrics to it next week. I'll do it. I should have done it this week, but next week I'll do the lyrics to Jimmy Reed. Bob Dylan did a song called Goodbye Jimmy Reed. For long-term followers of Pigville Productions will know that Goodbye Jimmy Reed was one of our first uploads on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Pigville and the number 2. And that famous Goodbye Jimmy Reed, a short film that we made. Obviously Bob Dylan saw it and was so inspired that in 2020, which was literally 14 years or something after we uploaded it, he did a song called exactly the same thing, Goodbye Jimmy Reed.
Well, it gives me great pleasure to know that Bob Dylan is a fan.
Is a fan. He's a Pigville fan.
And that is kind of irrefutable proof.
Exactly, right?
You
Exactly.
can't copy the name verbatim.
And
tell me
exactly
that you thought of the words goodbye and Jimmy, a common name, and Reed, a common name, and you put them all together. Like, there's no way that anyone else in the world would ever do that.
Come on, it's a pretty big coincidence. It's a pretty big coincidence. It used to be you Googled goodbye Jimmy Reed, you found us. Now you find Bob Dylan.
Who?
Bob bloody Dylan. I've watched a couple of things recently. I saw did you see that they've released a Napoleon Dynamite sequel on Netflix? Yeah, they've released a Napoleon Dynamite sequel on Netflix. I'm not sure about the direction they've taken it, but it's called Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer Story. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. I've been enjoying it. So this Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer Story, it's interesting to see where they took that character. Yeah. But it's good. Have you seen it? Have you had a look at it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it on the podcast. Oh, wait.
No, Monster.
Is that the documentary?
No. The new... It's quite new. The Dahmer... Well, relatively new. Dahmer Monster, the... What's it called? The Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer Story.
The series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's reasonably new. Come on, it's within the last 6 months.
Yeah, like everyone did watch that 6 months ago.
But have you watched it?
Yeah.
It was bloody good stuff. And
that's great.
So very compelling. And so now I'm only 4 episodes in, but after finishing that, we're going to move on to the Jeffrey Dahmer tapes, the Ted Bundy tapes. But the Jeffrey Dahmer.
So I listened to watched the Ted Bundy tapes.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't bother.
You were the one that said, I remember you saying, why do they have to take this 45-minute idea and turn it into 6 1-hour episodes?
Yeah. It was a bit much, but the Dahmer one is very effective.
Yeah,
just because he's so scary, also he killed so many people. It's so fucked up. Everything about it is fucked up. Yeah, no, we did. I talked about it on the podcast a little bit before you'd watched it.
Right.
But so what we're gonna do is make you listen to one episode of the Guy and Harley podcast, and then you can leave. All right, we're just gonna sit here and watch that.
Yeah. When he wants to watch,
The Exorcist 3.
The Exorcist 3.
Also, The Exorcist 3. What I love about it too is like it's clear that he's kind of a fucking dumb guy.
Yeah,
like as in he's like all his ideas are based on like not being very intelligent, like the way that he disposes of bodies, the way that the carelessness of his killing, his taste in film, and just like his kind of his thoughts and perspectives, like through this prism of like, and like what he did to his victims and what he expected would happen. They're all like based like a guy who's not a smart, cunning murderer.
Yeah.
But kind of a dumb dipshit who bumbled his way through the most horrific murders of the last 30 years.
Yeah. And being so bumbling, nobody would expect it. Nobody could expect anybody to be so bumbling.
Exactly.
But that being said, obviously
and brazen.
Brazen too, yeah. But he also knew a lot about obviously he has some medical training and, sort of obviously understood a lot about some science stuff and how to, dissolve bodies and all that type of stuff. He obviously had some knowledge in certain places. But yeah, he does seem like a bit of a dumbass. I was thinking earlier today about how horrible it would be to accidentally have a child like that, and you just can't get rid of them. You feel bad for the dad in the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
he's still alive, by the way.
This loser kid.
So he's come out. This is the highest rated show on Netflix.
Yeah.
Of the year, I believe, or the second. It's like in the top 3, right? So one of the biggest shows ever, and I think it's crossed the 1 billion streams or some crazy number, right? And the dad was just minding his own business. He's like, yes, my son is a monster. Yes, I've had to ponder and reflect on that for the last 40 years. And now at the age of like 87 or something, everyone is talking about it, and I'm one of the main fucking characters, and he's not portrayed in a bad light at all.
No,
but it's also like
that's what I mean. I feel sorry for him.
It's incredibly traumatic to just go through this whole
thing
kind
again.
of because he's done all this. He wrote a book on it. There's like, he did all the interviews and stuff, and now everyone wants to talk about it again. But and now almost talking about it like to some degree, it's just a show, you know. It's as in it, but he's still there and dealing with that, and that's the problem. Is like you don't know if you are going to birth a serial killer.
No, you don't. And now, he says in the series as well, right? He says, I think I was born this way. I don't think, it was probably a quote from him in real life.
Yeah.
I think I was born this way. I don't think there was one event that made me like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I think that can just happen sometimes.
Absolutely.
Just get a fucking lunatic.
And there's no, that's the thing. It's
like, how do you get rid of them?
You're not, you
can't.
You know, like, yes, it can be, you know, a nature versus nurture thing or whatever, in the sense that you can be, like, you can become a murdering serial killer because of your environment as a kid,
absolutely.
For sure, as well.
I think most of them are.
Yeah, but then there's this every odd one that has no compunction or reason to do that.
Yeah.
That does that.
Yeah, well, it's about a 1 in 100 people, and they're psychopaths. They're clinically... One in 100 people, they reckon, is a psychopath, where the part of your...
They all work in the film industry.
Where the part of your brain that makes you feel remorse, and the part of your brain that makes you feel empathy, and the part of your brain that makes you feel fear are not really, they don't light up in the same ways that the rest of us do. So you see a picture of a dead person and most of us are like, oh no, who was that? That's terrible. I feel shocked and scared and hurt and worried for them and wonder who they are, and but a psychopath sees that and they see it as a curiosity. They think it's curious. The part of their brain lights up that is interested in this curious thing. And they just don't feel that. And then because they don't have the fear, right? They don't have to fear, like you and me, right? If we were going to commit a big crime like a murder, you'd be terrified of getting caught because you know you're going to spend literally the rest of your life in jail. You'd understand the scale of it all. But, if you're a psychopath, you understand it, you grasp the concept, but it's not that scary for you, and you'll cross that bridge when you get to it because that part of your brain just isn't firing off. And so you can go out and do these horrible but sometimes very brazen things. And you can also be very successful in business and politics, because you're willing to kill people, maybe not directly, but you're willing to make decisions that kill people because you don't care, because you're a psychopath and those bits don't go off in your brain, and you're willing to shut down factories and do these types of things that you need to do in order to succeed. And you get a jacuzzi and some cool shoes and a nice house, and you ruin lots of other lives.
You're willing to steal hundreds of thousands of dollars from your fans.
Yeah.
In a crypto scam. To make some extra money.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't get too heavily into crypto. It was just a little bit too vague for me. That's not to be said that I do think there's a potential future there for crypto. I think it could ultimately still fill that place, but who knows what's going to happen. So anyway, we do need to wrap it up, but I did watch one more thing, which was Avatar. Now, the new Avatar.
Shit.
Yeah, I went along, saw it in the cinema, and
Weight of Water.
I watched it in IMAX.
Yep.
In the cinema in IMAX. So James better not bitch that I'm not watching it the way it was intended or anything like that.
$150 later.
Yeah. Avatar, The Last Waterbender.
Yeah.
But I went there with She Who Shall Be Named, and I was a little bit concerned when the trailers began to play before the film, because they were all for these superhero movies aimed at tweens and imbeciles. These sort of dumb, exactly the same superhero movies. And I actually thought, I was sitting there and I was like, is this the same movie? Like, it was about 12 minutes. And I was like, is this literally the same trailer? And it wasn't. It was 4 different films, but they were all the exact same silly bullshit with these kind of like unrealistic superheroes spouting cool lines, like sort of cool, I'm a cool guy, I'm saying a cool thing, a Fast and the Furious type delivery, and there's just dumb CGI explosions. And I was like, well, shit, if this is... Obviously, they're putting these trailers before this movie because the people who will come and see this movie are the type of people that will go and watch those movies. And I was like, that does not bode well for the quality of this movie.
I thought you were going to say for your personality, as in how they've read you the person, the movie goer.
But I'm the imbecile.
Yes, you're the movie goer that's going to
I'm
see
the
this, and
imbecile.
these are the trailers that you would like.
You dumb. Well, exactly right. So,
Eat
but
this
really,
shit up, dummy.
but really, I was the fish out of water, right? I was like, oh no, this is
You're
not
the
aimed at me at
disruptor.
all.
You were Elon Musk in that room.
I was Daddy Musk. You know, but you know, I was like, if this is the same people that would enjoy this movie, these trailers are aimed at them, then I'm probably not going to have a good time. Okay, but the film was actually pretty good. It wasn't too bad. You know, like I liked it, and it was a little bit long. Obviously, we got into the cinema at 7:30. That's when the trailer started at 7:30. Right, the ads start at 7:30. We looked at the watch at the end, and the credits were still rolling. There might even be a post-credit scene. I wouldn't fucking know. And it was 10:55. So it was, you know, that's 2.5 hours later. 3.5 hours. That's 3.5 hours later. 3.5 hours later, I'm getting out of this movie, busting for a piss. And so, yeah, it was just a little bit long, but it was pretty good. Story was, you know, not particularly challenging, but I was entertained the whole way through. At no point was I like, oh God, will you just end, God? But I was also a bit like, all right, okay, get on with it.
Never bet against Jimmy C.
Well, he's only made $1 billion from it, right? And didn't he need to make like $3 billion for it?
It reached $1 billion in 14 days, which was quicker, like
than the original,
almost twice as quick as Avatar.
Right. Yeah.
But yes, you're right that I think it has to make sort of like $2 billion. For it to really be like sweet. That was worth it financially speaking. But it could well happen. Yeah. And it certainly seems that it's certainly on the way to having that potential, and the sort of the feedback has been like, wow, that's cool, a real kind of studio film that's not a fucking Marvel superhero movie, and is actually kind of original, about something important, and is
original
like,
script,
you know, and is like, you know, big and fun. And maybe not the most, you know, like not an Oscar, you know, nominating sort of story about, you know, a guy trapped in his mind, you know, stuck in a hospital bed reliving his life. Like it's not that, you know, that type of story, but it is a big, fun studio film that still is about something that's still valid and worthwhile making, and it's really refreshing after all the superhero shit over and over again. Yeah, that's the general consensus that I've heard. I have not seen it, but I will definitely be seeing it, as it does star our good friend Justin Christian
and my good friend Sigourney Weaver,
who touched me
on the shoulder on the set of Avatar 1.
Yeah,
of which I was one of the stars.
Which James
you can
Cameron
find out about it on our YouTube channels, youtube.com/Pigville, and the number 2.
Owes you how much again? Can you remember how much it was?
Thousands, 30,000.
But you mathematically calculated it?
Yeah, I calculated it. I didn't memorize the number, but it's like he owes me about $30,000 if you calculate it second by second.
By how long you're on?
I'm going to share this on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Guy and Harley. I'll share the video so that you understand and see me in Avatar.
So I just want to talk about like the great injustices of the world here. Yeah. Okay. Sigourney Weaver, who you do not really give two shits about.
That's not true. I really, really enjoyed her in Snowcake. The panty scenes in Snowcake. The
I don't think it's called Snowcake.
Layer Cake.
I don't think it's not called Layer Cake. That's a different film. I think you're thinking of like the Ice Storm or something like that. Anyway, you've done that joke before, but these are the
Snowcake.
As a Snowcake?
It's Snowcake.
Okay.
The famous Sigourney Weaver panty scene. Everybody knows about the famous Sigourney Weaver panty scene. Everybody know. You know what I mean. Everybody knows what I mean. The scene from Snowcake.
So, yeah, the great injustices of the world. Sigourney Weaver, who does happen to be one of my favorite actors, touched your arm.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, it was a big deal to me as well.
Due to the giant stain in your underwear after it happened.
That Snowcake scene.
You snowcaked your pants as she brushed it up on your arm. Did she say, excuse me?
Yeah, so she touched me on the shoulder because I was standing in her way and I was facing, you know.
Stupidly standing in the way of the lead actor.
Of literally Sigourney Weaver. Can somebody tell me why that extra is standing in Sigourney's way?
So, like standing on her mark, some dumbass standing directly on her mark. You look down, there's a mark for her, and you're like, hey, this is where it fits.
He looks too young young to even be on Pandora. Can we move him up the back? It takes 24 years to get to Pandora. Can we put him up the back, for fuck's sake?
But anyway, so she said, so you have
so I was
talked
in
to
the way.
Sigourney Weaver. You're
okay.
in the way.
So here I am.
You're on her mark.
I'm minding my business. And I feel a light, angelic touch on my shoulder, just gently turning me.
Yeah.
And I just turn, and there she is, Sigourney Weaver herself. And she says, "Excuse me." At which moment I removed myself from the equation and got out of the way. And, well, that was the whole story. I didn't dare utter anything back.
Yeah.
I might have said, I'm sorry about that. Maybe.
Yeah. So first injustice, Sigourney Weaver touched your shoulder and spoke to you. Second injustice.
So did Dolph Lundgren.
I don't care about Dolph. But, you know, that's still a good story too. Second injustice. You did a Michael Caine impersonation to Michael Caine.
And Michael Caine saw me
Caine saw you
doing an impersonation of Michael Caine.
Like, just let that sink in. Michael Caine, one of my favorite actors of all time. And I can't remember the third injustice.
But to be fair, it's not entirely wasted on me either. I have read his book, you know, which you recommended to me, and I read his first book.
But I recommended it to you.
Yeah, and I liked it, and I admired him a lot more after reading that book. I was like, oh, okay, I start to understand why you like him,
but
right?
You haven't seen all his films and all.
No, I mean, look, I've seen a couple.
You've
you
seen
know?
like you've
He was
seen
in Batman, wasn't he?
In fact, you've seen none
He
of
was in
the
Children of Men.
You've seen
he was
none,
excellent in Children of Men.
You've seen none of the films that Michael Caine talks about in the book you read about Michael Caine.
What's it all about, Alfie? He never said that. But what's it all about, Alfie? What's it all about? Never seen it. Never seen Alfie.
Never seen Alfie.
I've seen bits of it. Okay, Zulu.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a war film.
So, okay.
Any war film, I've seen it.
Get Carter.
The English are crumbing.
Haven't seen that. The Italian Job.
I've seen I haven't seen that one. I've seen the remake.
Yeah.
I've seen the remake.
The
He was in that.
horrible remake.
But I have seen Batman, which he played a small part, and also Children of Men, which he also played a small part. But he's seen me anyway, and that's the point. And I've read his book, and also I have more admiration for him for his service in Korea.
And I see there was one other brush with greatness that you had, but I just can't remember
Can't
it
quite
now.
remember who it
that
was at the moment.
That other injustice. But
somebody
those
else.
two. Well, also, no, James Cameron directed you in a film.
He directed me up to the back.
Well,
he directed me to get to the back of the room.
James Cameron directed you in the highest grossing film of all time, Avatar. Sure, he told you to get the fuck out the back and out of the frame, but he directed you on a feature film.
Yeah. So that's me Harley Nevilling it.
Three great injustices right there. James Cameron, you have been directed...
I've been
directed by James Cameron.
I can say that. It's
you
true.
have been directed by James Cameron. It's insane. It's actual madness. Doesn't make any sense. It's like Adam St. John, our friend Adam, when he met George Lucas
on the street.
He literally just bumped into him on the street in America.
Where did they have that Hurricane Catherine?
Not
St. Louis. It's St. Katrina, that place.
New Orleans.
That's the one. He saw him there.
Yeah, and he was like, "You're George Lucas," and George Lucas was like, "Yes, I am."
That's me.
And he was like, "Hey, would you mind if I took a photo with you?" And he was like, "Okay." Fucking George Lucas, the king. That's like George Lucas is like the filmmaking equivalent of God to me.
I think he was working on a cruise ship when that happened, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's why Adam was there. He was working on a cruise ship as a videographer and stumbled upon him.
Filmmaking God. And there he was. And he showed me the photo, so it's real. It really happened.
All right. Well,
great injustices of the world.
Great injustices on great injustices of the world. We'd better
it's like if
get out of here.
It's just like if I chat to Elon now, you're gonna be livid.
Nah, it'd be very enlightening for you, and I'd ask you to pass along all his messages.
I have a coffee with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking Carl Sagan walks into the bar.
George Carlin. Love it. I'd love to meet George Carlin. Rest his soul. All right, cool. Well, look, we need to wrap this up because we have a barbecue that's ready and it's 5 to 5 p.m. So it's dinner time. It's time for Guy to completely renege on his New Year's resolution.
Destroy those sausages.
Just eat all those yummy, cheesy sausages.
Yep.
And so we will get out of here and we'll be back next week with another episode of the Guy and Harley. Well, next time with another episode of the Guy and Harley podcast.
Just your expectations, friends.
There's lots of useful links in the description of wherever you're listening or watching. So please click on those and help us out. And I think that's probably all I've got to say.
And just also thank Nocturnal on the live stream. He's just delivered another version of a YouTube video for me, and it's all looking pretty damn awesome. But I now have to compile it at my end, which is actually quite difficult. But he did an awesome job on that, and it's going to be very cool. And hopefully they'll be able to be released in the next couple of days. So I appreciate that, Sam. Thank you.
So we'll see you next week-ish.